Evening, guys, and yes, don't adjust your screens, rub your eyes. The boys are back, and we're back with a vengeance. I can't remember the last time we did one. Probably something like around 1972 or something like that. As you can tell, me knew his age
Yeah.
a little bit since the last show. But yeah, welcome to the We Know Nothing show. We are back. We're back with so much refreshness. We're ready to go at it again. And yeah, we're ready. So I'm not going to bore you with the same old statement I made last time. So bear with us though, because we haven't done it for a while. So there might be a couple of hiccups here and there. Might be a little bit of nervousness and all that good stuff. So, young
It's all
it,
good.
we haven't done this for a while, but welcome to the We Know Nothing show. I wouldn't want to do it without you. Can't do it without you. Hope you're all good, mate. And yeah, let's just kick off.
That's it. Well, everybody, again, like Mark said, welcome to the We Know Nothing show. Most of all, Mark, welcome back to the We Know Nothing show. Um, yeah, it's good to be back. It's been a while. Life has gotten in the way quite some for both of us over the last, gosh, forever. But we're here. We're ready to go. Euros is underway. Burnley are trying to find a manager. Who knows what's, and we've been relegated since the last show, since one of our last shows. So lots has gone on. Um, we were probably not going to touch on the relegation side of life because that's long gone now. So, but we will touch on the Euros, and we will touch on Burnley and what's going to happen. Moving forward, it's not all going to be about Burnley. The We Know Nothing show. We're going to try and uh, branch away from that a little bit and build up into other clubs. See if we can get other people on from around and about, and see if we can get more fans on that want to talk about their club. Because as you know, me and Mark are passionate about football. Doesn't matter, we love Burnley, but it can be any football. And we may even branch out into a different sport from time to time. Maybe even into WWE. We'll see. Watch this space. Um, but yeah, it's probably not coming home is my statement to start off the to start it off. However, we've sneaked through the group. We probably should have done it a bit easier than what we made it. I would say, but when looking at it, there's only a couple of teams that have really performed so far for me, and everybody else has been quite a bit hit and miss.
Yeah.
If I do say my two teams that have performed okay so far, I'd say Germany and Spain. Really, there's been a
Mm.
few outsiders in that.
Yeah.
You know, Austria are a team that you wanna really look at.
Yeah.
They're and we'll touch on them or we'll touch on all that in a few moments time. But um, Slovakia next. Um, we should get through that, right?
Um, well, it's a funny one, isn't it? We England, because when he picked the squad, I was absolutely buzzing with that squad because he actually put his neck on the chopping board and didn't revert to type like he has done for the last few tournaments, and actually picked players on form towards the end of the season. Like you like so obviously Bowen, Eze, Gordon,
Yeah.
Watkins, Manu, Palmer, Wharton, players like that. So when I'm looking at that squad, I'm thinking, you know what, actually, it's quite an exciting squad.
Yeah, I
Um,
agree.
he's actually he's actually gone off form. Um, the problem that I've got with it all, and honestly, it makes me laugh. It's like I'm a cork out of a bottle or something. As soon as you just get a little bit of air and it starts going out, that's me. Like that's what I feel like every time I talk about England. Honestly, it it literally gets on my nerves. So we have got one of the most boringest managers in the world, if not the most boringest manager in the world, right? I can't for the life understand why there's so many people saying he's done a fantastic job with England. And don't get me wrong, he's done a substandard job, right? Because realistically, other than getting us to semis, quarters, and finals, what's he actually done? Other than bridge that gap between the media and make it good to be an England player again with the media. He's brought that feel good factor back to
Yeah.
being an English player, England player, and stuff like that. Which is fair enough. That's been a great achievement because there was a divide between the media in England over the tournaments and stuff, and the negativity
Do you
from
not
the
think
press.
that's creep? You not think that's creeped back in this
Big time,
group
absolutely.
stage
It's
so
crept
far?
back
Then.
in with a vengeance, mate. Big time. But that's coming from the manager because of the statements he's making and because of the decisions he's making.
Yeah.
Like and I know, and everybody else knows, like, everyone's played, there's 60 million England managers out there who would pick, the better team than Borgate. Like, literally, like, you're crying out for players like, Palmer, Gordon, Mainu, Wharton, even Watkins. Like,
Yeah, I'm
even,
going to touch on the team in a few moments actually, and see what your
oh,
team
mate,
will
I've
be
gone. Ed's gone. Ed's
for
gone.
Slovakia.
Yeah,
Um,
we should hammer, not, well, we shouldn't hammer Slovakia, but if
but they won one, drew one, lost one in their group stage, and I know we went and we won one, and
they
then we,
sneak through, didn't they? They
we
sneak through.
drew two. They finished third in their league,
Yeah,
you know,
yeah,
and it, I don't know. I can see us building into something. He just needs to believe in some other players, I think, and change a couple of bits for me.
mm,
But if we touch on the group stage, Serbia, we got a 1-0 win. Look, we played well for 30 minutes.
yeah.
We
That was it.
pressed
Absolutely.
high. We pressed
Yeah,
as a team.
yeah,
The defensive line was high. We
yeah,
scored. The defensive line dropped off 20
yeah,
yards,
yeah.
which meant Rice had to drop off 20 yards, which
Mm-hmm.
meant then Bellingham had to drop off 20
Yeah,
yards. Kane
yeah,
has to drop off
yeah,
20 yards. And there is no press then. And that we're playing against teams that are hard to break down. And that's
yeah,
what we've done in the group stage. Every team's been hard to break down.
yeah, yeah.
However, against Serbia, we pressed high, got the goal, and then
Just like
that
that.
was it. Against the other two teams, we've not gone and pressed. We've tried to play Pep Guardiola football, and unfortunately, without a group of players like Pep Guardiola's got,
Yeah,
you
yeah,
can't play Pep.
yeah,
I
yeah.
listened. John Barnes was on the other day on the radio, and he said he was always asked by managers when playing for England to play like he does for Liverpool,
Yeah, but you
and
can't.
he turned around and said, "Well, if you get everybody else to play like the rest of the Liverpool players, then I'll
I
play
will.
like I do for
Yeah,
Liverpool."
yeah,
And we're saying that to Phil Foden, play like you do at Manchester City. We're not getting the best out of Phil Foden, or we're not getting the best Phil Foden.
yeah,
Well, no, because he's not playing in that same position. He's not got that free role. We've given that to
yeah.
Bellingham now. Arguably, Bellingham is fantastic and one
Mm,
of the best players in the world at the minute.
yeah,
But so's Phil Foden. We've
yeah.
got We've got to get Phil Foden, Bellingham, and Harry Kane in that team
Mm, yeah,
around. With Declan Rice, with
yeah,
for me Eze, with Cole Palmer,
yeah,
with Saka.
yeah,
It's excuse me, it's a tough old scenario that we find ourselves in. But against Denmark, we've scored, sat back,
yeah,
and then you know um, the Slovenia game, we just I don't know, we were dead out on our feet, and it was like we lacked anything on the pitch. But for me, the manager sets us up in a way,
yeah,
and whether that's the right or wrong way as fan managers, I'm going to
yeah,
call us.
yeah.
The players
Managers.
have a right to do stuff on the pitch as well. If
Yeah, to
if
express
you want the
themselves.
game to step up, then
Yeah,
as a player on the pitch, you as a defender, you press higher, you push the team forward, you get out quicker,
yeah,
and you pull, Stones and Gahey. I think by our best player so far in the tournament's been Gahey.
yeah. I mean,
The way that he's swept up behind people, cleaned the ball out,
yeah,
won great tackles. He's found himself in some tough positions at times, but For me,
The
he's been
only
our better player so far.
There's two things I want to touch on that, and it's great points that you're making because I was saying this the other day about, your Foden doesn't have a De Bruyne, Kovacic, and Rodri behind him. When Pogba played at Juventus and he was the best thing since last bread, it's because he had Vidal Marquezio and Pirlo behind him doing all the
Yeah,
dirty
yeah,
work. He didn't need to look back because he had that behind him. So on that point, I 110% agree with you what you're saying. You can't play for your club like you do for your national team because you don't have the players. However, what I will say is the issue that we seem to have is when you've got a manager saying we're still experimenting and we haven't really replaced Calvin Phillips. Well, that does send shockwave for me through the entire squad. Because if you're like a Manu or a Wharton or even other players, and you're
I'm gonna. I need to say this because Calvin Phillips doesn't get in that squad.
no, no.
Are you telling me that Calvin Phillips gets in front of Declan Rice because that's the position he's playing in?
Well, it's what Southgate said. Southgate
He
said the other
can't.
day.
He can't. He's not getting in his team back in England,
Exactly.
in his club football. So he's
Exactly.
and I know that's what he said, but I can't
I was
understand
same.
it.
I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe it. And he's saying stuff like that, and then he says we're still experimenting. I'm like, you're 2 games into a tournament. You've got probably one of the best squads that you've had in a very, very long time. So credibility goes to him for picking that squad.
Yeah,
However, experimenting 2 games into a tournament is pathetic. Your experiment happens in the Iceland game and the Bosnia and whoever we played before
well, it was Bosnia, weren't it? There used to be
yeah
Bosnian. Or was
Euros
it
kicked off.
Bosnia? Or was
Yeah,
it?
something like that.
Yeah,
But touching on the team and stuff, what you're saying about getting your Palmers in, this is a really, really straightforward thing, right? There's 2 points I want to touch on here because I'm as you can tell, I'm ripping about it, and it really is a source of
yeah, yeah.
frustration for me. When John Stones plays for Manchester City, John Stones is like the catalyst of the press for Manchester City when he steps in. When he steps into that midfield role, Rodri and De Bruyne and Kovacic, whoever's playing in that middle, will push 20 yards forward. What that happens then is then your Fordens, your Haalands, your Grealishes, your players like that will push forward as well. So when John Stones steps in, De Bruyne, Kovacic, players like that know to step forward, and then that all of a sudden you've gone up the pitch without actually doing anything with the ball because positionally you've moved up. So this idea of we're not doing the right things because we're being shackled by a boring manager.
Yeah, but
Um,
also in that we're not picking the right players at the
no,
right time.
we're not right players.
He's
The
he's
team, the
he's
team is
trying to sit two
down.
defender. He's trying to sit the two defensive midfielders in
Well,
when we're playing against teams that are 160,000 places below us, and
exactly, exactly.
there's only one or two players out of the three teams that we've already played that would get on England's bench
Yeah, 100%.
potentially, and
Yeah,
only just. I mean,
yeah.
you know, there's
But
not very many.
touching on that about just touching on what you said about Mark Gay, I think Mark Gay's been fantastic. I think to come to your first international tournament
Yeah.
and then be thrown in because controversial statement, but I do and did think Maguire would be a big miss for us. Because he's not put a foot wrong for England. I think he's been
No,
fantastic for England.
I agree. He must have failed the fitness test
No, he
to
did.
not
It
be
was
there.
calf. Yeah, he
You
didn't
know,
go
if
because of his
if
calf
he if he'd
injury.
have passed any sort of fitness test,
He'd have been
he
going.
would have just like Luke Shaw. Luke Shaw
Yeah,
must have passed some sort of test to say
yeah,
yes, he's going to be there.
yeah. I
And
agree. I agree.
I don't think Maguire was able to do that, or he would have
No,
been there. And for me, it would have been on my,
he'd have been
like you said,
starting.
it'd have been starting for me.
Yeah,
Um, because albeit he's not done it great for Manchester United, and we've said this before, he's done it for England on more than one occasion, and he has that step into midfield that
yeah.
he does for
He will.
England.
Yeah, yeah. He'll come forward with a
Um,
little bit more. My
and
only.
and yeah, I think we're too quick England to get up the field. It's not working all the way
Get
back.
back.
And sometimes when we found
Yeah,
ourselves going back, we found a pass that's not been quite good enough. And then it's
yeah,
put the person who you're passing to under pressure. And then we
yeah,
turned and gone all the way back to Pickford. And then actually, Pickford hasn't got that long ball outlet because we're playing Harry Kane up top on his own. Isn't the greatest winner of a ball in the air. I think 9 times out of 10 he gets beat in the air by the defender behind him.
yeah,
Even
yeah.
holding the ball up, he doesn't seem to be the strongest player in the world. So
Yeah, it seems like he's struggling a bit, but I think um touching on the Mark Gay thing. My concern is for Mark Gay is that when he comes up against someone good, I think he's going to get rinsed. I think the problem is with it is that he's played against, he's played against Mitrovic, he's played against Rasmus Højlund, and then he played against Sesko the other day. He didn't really do anything. And don't get me wrong, he's been really good. I think he's been really good. But then, you're going into that
the
next
good thing
strike.
is the next realistically the next really good player that we might come up against is either someone playing for Italy or
Holland, is it?
Holland, the
So it could be
Netherlands
Depay.
potentially.
So it could be Depay, Skamaka.
Or
Um,
we it's something it's a team from the other side in the final. That's the way you've got to
yeah,
look at
yeah,
it.
which is which is understandable. But I think he's been great. But the jury's out of him. But in regards to, right, I'm going to try and say this calmly. Um, in regards to the team, and excuse me for my language, the We Know Nothing Show fans, the fucking team picks itself. It's a self-explanatory football team that lineup should be playing. The
I've
lineup
lost you, Mark Phillips.
have gone.
Oh, you're back now.
Oh, yeah. So
It
this
was
is a
like I
source of
blanked out you swearing.
this is a source of frustration for me. So that team picks itself. That team is the easiest pick team in world football and European football. For me, your team is Pickford in net, Trippier left back, Walker right back, Stones and Gay middle part in the middle of centre half. Your midfield three is Bellingham, Foden, and Rice. However, with Bellingham struggling recently, if Bellingham's not up to it and not playing well, you take him out and put Wharton or Mainoo in there with Rice and Foden. Your left winger should be Gordon. Your right winger should be Saka or Palmer. Up top with Harry Kane. That is your England team. Or you change it and you don't put Gordon on, you put Eze on there, and Eze and you take Saka out, you put Palmer in, or
Well, this
that
this is this
team.
is my source of frustration at the minute with this because okay, we've been going on for a since the start of the tournament that we need a left footer on the left side of midfield.
Yeah,
We've put um Borden out there. And I'll give you my team in a minute, and it's not far different to yours.
yeah,
Um, but and this is not my team now, and this is not what I would do now. But earlier on in this, why the not did we not put Saka, who is a left-footed player? I get that he likes to cut inside, but how many times does he cut inside and bend one in that top corner? Not very often. That's not the way that England play. That's not the way that Gareth Southgate wants him to play. Gareth Southgate wants him to go, try and beat a man, go down the edge and pull it in with his right foot. Why? He's
yeah,
left footed. Go down the left, beat your man and pull it with your left foot. We've got a left foot option. We've got another one. Palmer
yeah,
is left footed. Put him on the left hand side. I get it, Gordon. When he came on for 5 minutes the other night, it was a breath of fresh air. His first
yeah.
one knocked it down the line. It went out of play, but he'd already beat his man.
But
Like
that's what I was saying though. But how positive were it though that the first thing he did was get that ball and drive at his player.
soon
I
as he
was,
got it, he
yeah,
just he
100%.
didn't even have to drive. All he did was pop it into the line and try
Yeah,
to run the line. You know, it's a really easy technique, especially against a tiring person.
yeah,
But
which he were.
and I get it, like we've brought him on, but in that game, if we weren't going to start Cole Palmer at left side or Saka at left side, we should have started Eze there
but he won't. He
because
won't
they
run
would.
that low, would he, Younger? He
Because
would. He's
no,
not. He's
it
not going
wouldn't.
to.
But that's what we should. Because they sit deep. We need someone to run at him. We need someone to um pull the man out, pull men
Yeah.
out. So once you start
But
running at players,
did
more
you watch
players
the
start
game?
pulling out. Yeah,
Did you watch the game the other night? Did you see
yeah, yeah,
the?
yeah.
Did you watch the post match of it with Keane and Ratty and that lot? Or did you not watch it?
No, no, I've
I can't remember. I don't know if it was before the game or after the game. But Ian Wright was saying, look, I think it must have been after the game actually. He was saying when Palmer come on, the first thing in Palmer's mind is to get that ball and drive forward.
yeah, yeah. Every
And what
time.
that does, and what that does as a team, it carries you forward, it takes you forward. So what Ian Wright was saying is that you might be risking in losing a bit of solidness and a bit of a bit of s-
But we're not.
s-
We've got four men at the back and Declan Rice sat in front.
no, that's what I was saying though about getting Palmer into that team. We were talking about playing Saka at left back, playing Saka at
Saka at
left
left
back.
back. Trippier can play left back.
It was
Just
more so he could get Palmer and Saka in the same team.
but but you can put Saka on the left hand side. Put
He's
Palmer
never
on the
played.
left hand
He's
side.
never played him on left though,
Leave
has he? This is
Kane
the problem.
in the middle. But I'll just go on my team for the next game. This would be not
Yeah,
forget about the we're past the group stage now.
yeah,
That's done and dusted. Um, there's not going to be too much change. Just the way I'd set up. Pickford in
yeah,
goal.
yeah.
Walker right back. We've got Stones and Gahey, and then it looks like now that Luke Shaw may well
So he's
be
gonna be
fit
fit.
to play in
Yeah,
the next game.
yeah,
If that's true, unfortunately, I might pick him over Trippier just because it gives us that left side option.
yeah.
And it
And
looked
Trippier's
like
struggling a
Trippier
bit.
picked up a knock.
Yeah,
Uh, yeah, but again, when he's on the right side and he's playing for Newcastle, he can run, he can get past his man, and he's putting
yeah, yeah,
goals in.
yeah. He doesn't
He's
have to come
not
back with
got
his left foot, does he? He doesn't have to come back. He can just put
he's
the
not
ball
got
in
a
that
left foot,
side.
has he? That's the thing.
No, no.
In the middle, I would play like this. Okay.
Yeah,
So you've got my defensive line.
yeah,
I've got Declan Rice. I've got Jude Bellingham going side to side and up and down as he can. Let him still get in box, but playing that role in that 8 role. And
yeah.
then Foden in front of him in that 10, where
Same.
Bellingham is not trying to push onto him.
Yeah,
If Foden drops in, they can switch over them two. But there's
yeah,
no Foden is playing central in that 10.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
If Kane sat right up top, like he did for the first half an hour in that first game, stay away from play.
yeah,
Stay up there. I
yeah,
wanted. There were so many times in that first game where we'd put a little ball. Bellingham's goal, for instance. Bellingham comes in at the back post. Kane goes front. I get it. That's what Kane wants to do. But he kept doing the same run over and over again. And I'm just like, just stay.
yeah,
Stay in that
yeah.
goal.
Stay in
Stop.
that space there. Yeah, exactly. Stay in that 6 yard box.
Yeah,
Don't move.
so and then obviously my wide men, Saka on the right, even though, he could play the left side for
Yeah,
me,
yeah,
but it would be Eze or Palmer for me, just because we need someone to be and Gordon's there or thereabouts, but Eze's got that no one knows too much about him.
yeah,
He's a bit of a flair player.
yeah,
Let him run. And what I
yeah,
mean is that when he runs past one, you're going to start drawing another player into him.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So it's
And
all
once
about
you
the
do that,
dribbling
then we've
places. And
created that space
yeah,
and just let him, instead of him running now, we're just popping a ball off and there's a gap there. It
yeah,
means that we're going to fill that, free that space up for Bellingham and Foden to start working in them areas.
yeah,
And then they'll stop thinking about that and they'll step away from him because they want to mark Foden or Bellingham and then he can run again.
yeah,
Um,
yeah,
I want to touch on quickly is obviously pundits having their say. Um,
yeah,
I know Lineker and Shearer have been, very negative, and we've not been the most positive here.
yeah,
But they're ex-professional footballers
yeah,
with fans, and I
yeah,
get their fans, but they're ex-professional footballers who have both played for England,
yeah,
and uh, in their time for England, they won the square root of fuck all.
yeah,
Um, and yes, you can have your say because you're a pundit,
yeah,
but you can't go and say, and I get it, I think Gareth Southgate hasn't done a bad job. The way that he's dealt with the press, the way that he's brought players
Yeah,
in
yeah,
when needed to. Occasionally, it should have been a couple more. And I think a lot of fans will agree with that. This
yeah,
tournament, he's done that.
yeah.
However,
It's too negative.
he's not really
Too
stuck to that
negative.
model when he's done it. Like he's brought
Yeah,
players in and then not
but
picked
not
them.
used them. Yeah, exactly. Not
So
used them. Yeah,
it's sort of he's contradicted himself a little bit by bringing the
yeah,
players in and not playing the model. Now, so
yeah, yeah,
I get that they're going to give him a little bit of stick. Our
yeah,
performances haven't been good enough,
yeah.
but some of that has to go on the players as well. But for them to
Um,
ridicule the manager, the team, the
mm,
performances when they've played in teams that haven't even got out of group stages, they've
yeah,
played in teams that have won nothing. They go on about how great they've been, but actually at club level they were good.
yeah,
At international level, they were okay. They both were record goal scorers for a time for England,
yeah,
but
yeah,
we didn't win anything. We didn't even get to a final
yeah.
under them. You know,
Um,
we haven't been there. So, and they had, we're going to say some of the better teams, and arguably some of the players that are in the current team wouldn't get into
the teams from then.
previous teams from then.
Yeah,
So have
yeah,
we got a better team now, or have we got a better team? That's not a question. I'm just,
yeah, 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 yeah.
then should we have won then or now, or are other teams worse now? And that's why England are favourites to win tournaments, or we deserve the right to be favourites to win a tournament. I'm not sure coming out of that group as top that we still deserve the right to be favourites for this tournament. But I think prior to going into the tournament, I think we should have been.
I think what I will say is this. From my from looking at it, obviously looking at it from Shearer and Lineker's point of view, they realise how good this team can be, and they realise that the players in that team are the the best of the best of the bunch. If you look at it from the point of view of where Lineker and Shearer are coming from, and I agree with Shearer what he said about it. I agree that I want pundits to go in on him because they should be going in on him
No,
because
I don't. I'm not saying I disagree. I just think there's a way about it. Harry Kane hasn't been having the best tournament to his standards, but we haven't really created
no,
too many chances for him to get. We've got to remember that Alan Shearer scored a lot of goals from inside the 18-yard box
and
and
probably
some
that's why it's
absolute screamers,
frustrating.
but we
But,
haven't created that many chances.
but probably that's why it's frustrating for a Harry for an Alan Shearer watching Harry Kane because Harry Kane is up there with one of the best finishers there is.
Yeah.
So what Shearer will be looking at from a striker's point of view, the strikers union, um, he will be looking at it and saying, you don't need to drop. You should be in that area when that ball's going in. When the winger's got their head up or the midfielder's looking for a ball through, the first person he should be seeing in that area or making them runs is that front man, and that should be Harry Kane.
I couldn't agree more, mate. To be
And
honest,
and
on
and
that.
and and the problem is what we've got at the minute is and this is where it comes back to Southgate. And I'm really sorry, guys, that I'm critiquing him so badly, but this is a source of frustration for me, right? When I played, I played at a steady standard. I were half decent way back when. I were fast, I quick, I could score goals. But when I were playing again. I were playing with the likes of obviously younger, players like Gary Smith, in the midfield who both very, 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 very good footballers. If I dropped into that middle of that park to get that ball, I know for a fact either Gaz or Youngie were saying, "Fuck off, go and do your job up top. We'll do that.
Yeah,
That's our job. That we're doing that. That's our job in that middle of the park. You go up and do your job up top." The only time I have seen it, and this is another point, what I think it's a poor do when you've got your midfielder going past Harry Kane to do the pressing. Harry Kane should be leading from the front, and I think the source of the frustration comes from in regards to the pundits and stuff like that is that they're English, they're passionate about the national team, they realise what a good opportunity we've got, with that squad that Southgate's picked.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
Young, what I will touch on with you, mate, is that you made a fantastic point about it's sort of like you say. I said it was a really funny situation. Really, I said before the Euros, I'm not going to get sucked into it because I don't think we're going to do anything. Week before, I'm like, yeah, we're going to win it. It's coming home. The thing is with it is this: is you made a great point when you said he's been bold and really good in picking the squad he's picked, but then he's reverted back to type and gone negative. We selection. There were a point in the Denmark game, and I nearly threw me shoe at the screen. There was a point in the Denmark game where they had Rasmus Højlund up top. I think again the punditry nailed it spot on. And there was a point where there were six England players scattered around Rasmus Højlund, Denmark were playing one up top.
yeah, yeah.
Now I'm not being funny. You've played centre half at a very good standard. You know for a fact if there's two centre halves to one striker, one centre half will go and do the pressing on that striker, and the other centre half will mop up if he gets past him. So why on earth have England got six players in that defensive area with one player up top? And
Because
again,
we'd already scored a goal and we were scared at
yeah,
that point. Or we
yeah,
weren't, but we're sort of frightened into that
but it's the
mentality that
shackles. But it's the
we're gonna
shackles yeah,
we're
from the
gonna we're gonna
sideline.
sink back in again, and
Yeah,
we all
it's
know it. As soon as we
appalling.
score, as England fans, we know. For me, we want to score in the 70th minute, you know, or we score and then we take a chance straight away and get 2-0 up. And that's the only way that we win. We should be winning games really, because
Yeah,
you know fine well that we're going to sink in. But then at 2-0, you're a bit worried about conceding because
yeah,
we're
because the
sank back
goal.
in.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, but
But does he
but
change it? Does he change it Sunday? The team he should be going with Sunday. Does he start Manu and Palmer?
no, I think Gordon will start.
Does he start Manu?
No, I think it will be the same team, just with Gordon, and he'll move in. He'll go to that three that everyone's been calling out for, whichever
Foden
way
in there,
around he
Gallagher
decides
out.
to do
Yeah,
it.
yeah,
Gallagher will come out, and I think he'll start Bellingham, Foden, and Rice. Because again, if you pull one of them players out of that, the only player that actually might pull out is Phil Foden, depending on when he comes back to the camp,
yeah,
I would say.
yeah.
But
Absolutely.
actually, if that comes back in time, then I think he has to stick with them three, because if he doesn't stick with them three and we get beat, he'll be said, why didn't you put them three, one of them in? Why hadn't you
Yeah,
played him from the start? Blah
yeah.
blah blah. Even though Bellingham started well in the first game and hasn't really played well, but again, he hasn't really been
Able
free
to. Yeah, he's
to
not been able to, has he?
do his game. And again, he's playing for Real Madrid week in week out. Everyone's expecting him to play the same. You've got to remember he only finished a week and a half before the tournament started.
Yeah, because he had
So
Champions League final, didn't
it's he's played a hell of a lot of football. They all have, everyone has. Um, but yeah, I would say that I think he'll probably bring Gordon in and start Gordon if it was me, just because I feel like that's his potentially his type of player really as well. Work hard, will get backwards and forwards. If we're lucky, we might see a Luke Shaw in there as well. But what I want to touch on quickly before we move on to Burnley is the, our side of the group. Obviously,
he? Yeah.
is um, Switzerland, Italy, uh, Slovakia, sorry, um, Romania, the Netherlands, Austria, and Turkey. Um, who gets out? Who gets out of them games? So you've got Switzerland and Italy,
Italy should win that.
Romania, Netherlands, and Austria, Turkey.
Netherlands will beat um who Netherlands playing to say
Romania.
Netherlands will beat Romania. And Austria will beat Turkey. But Austria that
Surprise package, aren't they, at the minute,
that
Austria?
that could be the I think that could be the Austria Turkey could be the game of the next 16.
Yeah.
I think they both played well with going under the radar a little bit. I think Austria surprised a lot of people. with how they were very unlucky. I think France were it. I want to say France. Did you play France? I think they were lucky against France. I think they only got beat by an own goal. Then I would say
Yeah,
they beat Holland 3-2. Um, I think the only ones really we should be worried
they
about
finished
is
top of their group, didn't they?
yeah, because of that win. Yeah, they end up
Yeah,
finishing top. And that's when Holland finished
but again,
finished
look,
third,
we're,
didn't
we're being critical of England, but they finished the top of the group, and
they? Yeah, don't get me wrong.
France finished second. Like
Yeah,
France were favourites and second favourites going into this tournament, and it bounced between England and France.
yeah.
They haven't performed well yet.
Not like you
Italy,
said at the beginning
I
of
know
the
Italy
beginning
have
of
had
the
a bit of a
video.
change, but Italy won the last one. Like,
Yeah, he
you
shouldn't
know,
have done though, realistically. But like you
oh,
pointed
well,
out
well,
at the
England
beginning,
should have won it, but I mean,
yeah, like you pointed out at the beginning though, the only two teams that have turned up really in regards to the big nations are Germany and Spain. They're the
and if
one
they
that
get out of their
yeah,
next
they're the
games,
standouts.
they'll play each other.
Each other, yeah. So realistically, you're looking at that and thinking potentially that could be the winner out of them two of Euro 24. I think my only concern with us with England at the moment, obviously, I know we're going to touch on Burnley in a minute, but the my only concern with us at the moment is that we have no momentum going into these knockout stages. There's nothing to get excited about. The negativity is at all-time high around the media, around the fans. You've got fans saying they won't be going to the next game, and they're selling the tickets and stuff like that. And that kind of negativity will feed
If
back to the
someone's
players.
selling a ticket and they're doing it at a good price, then um, I'm off at the weekend. So um, hit the We Know Nothing show up. I'll see
There
if I
you
can
go.
get flights out to Germany because I'd love to be there. I was looking for tickets beforehand and they were so expensive, it was unbelievable.
Yeah,
Flights and tickets were unbelievable. So
yeah.
if you're out in Germany and you've decided that you don't want to go and support your country because you're a retard, then um, I'll see if I can afford the ticket and I'll come and watch them on Sunday because um, yes, we've not played well, and this is where I'm being honest here. Yes, we've not played well, but isn't it good that we're not all singing it's coming home already when we've beat three shit teams in a group stage where actually we've looked crap in a group stage. We've now, yes, for whatever reason, we're still favourites, but we're under the radar. It's only going to take a little bit of something, and we smash them on Sunday, and now actually everybody's going, it's coming home because we play it's Italy or Switzerland in the next game before coming up against the Netherlands or Austria, you would say.
Yeah.
Um, it, for whichever way you want to look at it, for me, it's not a bad thing that we're a little bit under the radar at the minute. We've not,
Yeah, I
yes, we've
suppose.
got the, yes, we've, excuse me, we've not got the media on our side, and fans are a little bit, ooh, but actually, isn't it good that feeling of not being like screaming and shouting, yes, it's coming home because we've won first three games. You know, let's.
Um,
I think just take it as it is and let's hope for a better performance. I can't see us getting knocked out on
that's the
Sunday, if I'm honest.
no,
Can we make the final?
we should do.
I'd say yes. I think the
Yeah.
side of the people are talking about this game being the hardest game. The next game is the hardest game for me. I think the way that Netherlands have played, they haven't played particularly well and got lucky to get through themselves. I think the hardest game would be Austria.
Yeah. I think
Um,
the hardest game is going to be the final, whoever we come up against, because we'll come up against probably a Germany or a Spain or a France or someone like that, depending on our results, obviously. But I think the final is going to be our major test. Now, like you said, confidence is a massive thing in football, and if we can hit Slovakia for 3 or 4 on Sunday, and then go into that Italy Switzerland game, if that's who we're playing.
1 second, buddy. 1 second. Let me just pause this again.
So I think what I will say is momentum is a massive thing in the tournament, and I think if we can hit Slovakia for 3 or 4 on Sunday
Yeah.
and go into that Italy Switzerland game and get revenge on Italy, if they beat Switzerland, beat them, I mean, they're steady away, but if we beat them and then you're playing like Netherlands, Holland, Austria,
Yeah.
um, one of them. But either way, let's see what Sunday brings, and then we'll the next week's show we'll either be talking that how dreadful we are when we're coming home, or how
Well,
amazing
it's
it was,
coming home
and
by
it's
then.
coming home. Yeah, and it's coming home back then. You'll see a change of tune next week with fickle as honestly, when it comes to shit like this. But yeah, if we go on to Burnley now, the
Well, I
sole
was
threat.
just going to ask you who's going to win the Euros.
Uh, Personally, I think it's going to Spain.
Okay,
Yeah, I think
Spain.
Spain. I think Spain are going to win it.
Uh, I'm going England. Just so you know.
Wowzers, that's fucking bold as that.
I know. I put it down.
And let us know your. Obviously, we'll put this show out, guys. So if you want to get
It'll
involved
go out
in
tomorrow
that, let us
afternoon,
know.
mate. So
Yeah,
yeah,
let us know. Let us know what you think, guys. Who your predictions are. A bit of interaction goes a long way on this show. So yeah, let us know.
we'll fire it out as a little short for everybody. Yeah, this little bit, and we'll see what we get back. Okay, we're going to touch on Burnley. Right. It let's touch on a quick touch on Vincent Company. He has gone. He's off. See you later, mate. Thanks very much for your time. Uh, you got us relegated. Didn't change your style of football.
You backstabbing bastard.
I didn't want you to change your style of football. I wanted you to change the goalkeeper a little bit earlier.
Yeah,
Um, but I didn't want you to change the style of football.
yeah,
I'm not about that. I didn't want us to
yeah,
go back to Sean Dyche ball.
yeah.
I just think we could have been a little
If he puts
sharper.
Cullen, if he puts Cullen and Muric 12 games towards end of season, we stay up
I think if we'd have gone earlier, definitely, I think
big time,
there was a much more of an
massively.
opportunity for us to stay up.
Yeah.
However, he's gone. We were relegated. It is what it is. Why haven't we employed a new manager yet?
Um, for the simple reason, it could be the same reason. Obviously, there's a lot of news around Ruud van Nistelrooy at the minute. Obviously, about
Well,
you
yeah,
know he's going to
Rude's
Man
off to
United
United
soon
by
as
the looks of
well.
it.
Yeah, by the looks of it. But the club have never ever come out and said that they've actually offered him the job or offered him the role.
Yeah.
Um, the company thing last season took a while because he needed a visa, a working visa to come over and work. So it could be that. I have a sneaky suspicion it's a done deal now. I think they're just waiting to announce it.
Well,
Um,
the news flying about today is that they're going to announce it. They're going to announce somebody next week.
yeah,
But current driver is that Craig Bellamy is the favourite.
I wouldn't have Bellamy if you give him to me. Bellamy should just go to Wales.
I've lost you
Will
again.
do.
Just wait a few seconds, you'll come back.
Come back.
He's saying he wouldn't have Bellamy again. Something I feel like something might have gone on behind the scenes. Uh, there, are you back? Can you hear me?
Yeah, yeah. Can
Oh
you
yeah,
can
he's
you?
back now. There we go.
Yeah.
Um, I think something might have gone on because why wouldn't you take your assistant manager of 2 seasons um to Bayern with you?
Well, apparently,
Uh,
apparently something did go on at end of season. Towards the end of the season, I think Bellamy questioned his tactics and said, like it's clear to see we should be changing something. And apparently, the company didn't like that we're questioning him. So
okay,
they sort of like fell out about it. Apparently, rumors flying around. But my manager, the guy who I want,
yeah, West Brom manager Carlos Cabra.
110%.
Yeah,
If the rumours are right about Ruud van Nistelrooy going to Man United, then fair enough. He's loyal to Man United, and I get that. If he were offered the job, then fair enough. I get it. The loyalty to Man United and stuff, and the new regime and stuff looks like Man United are going to be doing bits and stuff, which is fair enough. However, the second favourite should be no other than that West Brom manager because I think he'd do a fantastic job with us.
no, I think he again he's one of the managers that's out there that's plays a decent style of football.
Yeah.
Um, has been around the division for a while. Um, are we are we currently doing the looking for a big name? And is that what we're going to get? Are we going to see somebody come out of the blue? I know,
Maybe.
we know Frank Lampard will link. Are we going to see someone like a Thierry Henry come out of the blue and be the Burnley manager, or is it going to be Craig Bellamy? Um, I don't know. I think
I
Craig
don't know.
Bellamy. The thing for me with Craig Bellamy, and uh, fans will like it, won't like it. He's been around the club now for 2 seasons.
Yeah,
He knows a lot of the players for the
yeah,
last 2 seasons.
yeah. There is that, I suppose. But I think
So
if you,
he's going to know how the players play. He's going to be able to, you know,
so he stays,
bring
he,
some of them players that were on that fringe in the championship to now bring them into, Benson hasn't left the club, everybody.
yeah,
And he was,
yeah,
very good in the championship when he was able to get fit. Give him a good preseason, keep him fit, get him in that championship. He's going to tear it apart. You know,
yeah,
um,
yeah.
who else
I
have we
think,
got? We've got what's he called? Collie Ojo.
yeah, Colin Oshaw's coming back. He'll absolutely rip it
He
up in that division.
he was if he
He was
hadn't have
our
got
best
injured,
player.
he might well have kept us up
Yeah, could have
because
been a different story because he was,
he looked phenomenal in the Premier
yeah,
League.
yeah, I agree.
Um,
Yeah, I agree with that.
if he's in the Championship, he's gonna be phenomenal.
Yeah,
If there's one player I would get rid of under company's tenure, um, I've not particularly taken to him very well. Is Lyle Foster. He never really did it in the Championship too well for me. Got a run in the Premier League, and I'm not entirely sure why. For me, it was a
mm,
very scruffy player. Um, he never technically hit anything clean. He never
yeah,
looked like he was going to run into an area that was going to cause problems for people. Um, yeah, for me, that'd be the person that I would be offloading. There's a few others as well, but I'm not really. I don't really need to touch on them all. You know, I've been a big fan of Jay Rodriguez for a long time, and you know that. And I'm glad to see the kid's got a kid. Fucking hell. I'm glad to see the kid's got a new contract, at least a season. Hopefully, we'll see him there. If he wants to carry on playing, then after that season, then carry on. But I'd
yeah,
like to see him join the club as coaching staff and stuff like that, and see
yeah.
him continue that rapport with the club. Um, but for me, I want to ask you, where do you see us next season?
Uh, Back up.
Do we blow that league away again, or
Yeah,
is it tougher?
no, we blow that league away again.
I
Hands,
see.
hands down, we've got best squad in division by a country mile. That
No,
man,
I a little bit agree, but I'm also torn. Um, it depends on the
that
manager.
manager, the manager who comes in, realistically, is going to be working with the best squad in the championship. Don't need a lot of tweaking. There's 13 players coming back off loan, so there's players there that can make a difference as well from
Yeah,
from the loan spells. You know, I just think we we're better than the Leicester team that's just gone up in
yeah.
my eyes, squad wise. I think depth and ability. Um, I think we should absolutely piss that league again this season. Don't get me wrong, I don't think we will. I don't think we will piss it, but we should do because that squad, other than a couple of tweaks here and there, we're losing a couple of players potentially and bringing players in. Realistically, they should absolutely hammer that division.
I can see us
In my
finishing
eyes.
a second close third. Me, I
I
don't know.
think either way,
I can't say who's going to finish top. I'm not, I must
yeah,
admit
either
I've
way,
not
we'll
done
go back up.
my homework on everybody in the league yet, but it's been a slow start. So, and then obviously
Yeah,
the Euros are on, so there's a lot
yeah,
around that. But come 2 weeks time, I'll go in depth into lots
yeah,
of the clubs and seeing who's been moving around, and I'll catch back up on transfers and stuff like that, and be able to give a
yeah,
more in depth look at other clubs. And that's where, again, as we said at the start, other people from other clubs, if you are a Leeds fan, if you are a Sheffield
Blackburn
United
fan.
fan, Blackburn,
Bastard. Man.
Blackburn fan. Bring a Blackburn fan on. Like,
Yeah.
we're football fans. Like, yes, we're Burnley fans, and we've called you bastards on here before, and I'm sure on every other Blackburn podcast, that video cast that goes the other way, you've called us the same. But if you come on, we'll be amicable, and we won't call you that then. But we want your take on it. But we also don't want you to come on and just go, "Oh, you bastards," and we won't go too much on about that. We won the league at your ground.
Just
But it's the
saying.
same with all fans. Like, if you're a Premier League fan and you want to talk Premier League and you want to talk how Man United are doing something, come on, have a conversation about it. Um, so you think we finished top of the league, do you?
I'm not going to say top, but we definitely going back up.
Okay. Are there any players that you uh want to see leave for me for you?
Yeah, there's a few. Get rid of Tresso,
Yeah.
because he's bobbins. Um, get rid of Dario O'Shea, because he's bobbins.
Oh, he's not going to be Bobby's in Championship though, is he?
I don't know,
Can
mate.
you imagine a back three
Yeah, but
of
yeah,
Dakiel, um,
nah,
Dara O'Shea, and
Steve,
what? No,
Steve, Ekdal.
no. Come
Ooh,
on.
Bayer.
Yeah.
No, you back if you're playing the back three, your back three will be Bayer, Steve, and Ekdal. That's your back three.
Dara would be in there for me.
Ah, come on, mate. Dario O'Shea can do one for me.
But how good would it? We've got like really like five good centre halves. Come on.
That's what I'm saying. So there's,
So
these options there. I don't know really. It's a tough one really because I think I
Jack
think
Cork's on his way, innit?
yeah, I'd like to keep the majority of that squad there and thereabouts.
Charlie Taylor looks like he's on his way as well. There's a rumour that
Yeah,
he's on his way to Southampton.
yeah. I'd heard rumours that Charlie Taylor's going, Connor Roberts is going. Um, players like them who've been fantastic servants for the club, but may have just come to their end at the end of the time with the club.
Yeah.
Um, I don't think there's many wholesale changes I'd make, to be honest with you, mate, because I don't think it needs it. I think that whoever's coming to that team is going to have whoever's coming to that squad is going to have a fantastic opportunity. But no, I think just
Positions to
before
strengthen.
up front, we need a goal scorer. I'd probably say left and right back. I don't think I love Vitinho, but I don't think he's great at fullback. I think he's good at moving,
But
going forward.
but again, we're talking Championship level, aren't we?
Yeah,
Like,
potentially, but I just think that I think if you set your foundations in championships, if you get your fullbacks and two solid fullbacks, I think
yeah,
going into the Premier League, you don't have to worry about them positions because you've already got it boxed off, so to speak,
yeah,
to an element. Um, the thing I will say, before we say goodbye to you, you beautiful bunch, is I'm really, really disappointed in company. Um, I think he's done the dirty on us. I get it about Bayern Munich being a fantastic opportunity for him. I get it. I'm not going to deny him of having the ability to go and manage one of the biggest clubs in the world. However, for me, he has committed career suicide, and the reason why he's done that is because he's just had a woeful season with Burnley, probably one of the worst fucking Premier League seasons there's been. Um, he's then been told he can't speak to him, thrown his toys out the pram, and by Monday he's been offered the job because he's spoken to him.
yeah.
The reason why I say about the career suicide thing is because if he has a shit start to his life at Bayern, because Bayern are going to want to respond to Leverkusen's dominance last season.
Yeah, of course
Uh,
they are. If he doesn't start well, he'll be out within a three
he'll be out
month
by
period.
Christmas. He'll be out by Christmas, January time, and then what happens then? He's left Burnley, got him relegated. He's gone then to one of the biggest clubs in the world, and can't do it. So what happens then?
Well, he ain't
And
going to be the Manchester City manager, is he?
that's why I think he should have stayed. He should have stayed at Burnley for one more season, got us back up, and then yeah, you're free to go, Vinny. Thanks for your service to the club. You've been
Well,
fantastic.
if he'd have got us back up, he'd have stayed again in the Premier League, wouldn't he? That would have been
Well,
the
no, I
case,
think he'd have
unless
gone
it
to
was the
City.
City job.
It definitely would have been City because Pep's on about leaving next season, so I think it was tailor made for him. But I just feel let down by him. I feel like he's and to release a
Yeah,
statement of 45 seconds talking about us when he owes a lot to Burnley.
yeah. I just
Burnley.
I agree. I just think in that same aspect, like I don't know. There's not many managers that have just been relegated from the Premier League that could
I
turn
get the
down
Bayern
Bayern.
job. Yeah, fucking hell, man.
I could even turn it down. Never mind get offered it. Like he's been offered it. I think you know what happened to the days of poaching. Like what's this? And I don't understand it. And it seems to be the done thing now that terms are agreed before the club has even been spoken to.
Yeah, I don't like.
Is that not player poaching?
Well,
It used to
it's
be
not like agreeing terms and you're already in a contract, so you're in breach of your contract, really.
it used to be a thing. Look, it used to be a thing, didn't it? But I suppose what they'll say is that we've just had an interview. I've gone for a job interview. I don't tell my employer if you were to go for an interview with another company, you won't tell your employer until you were offered the job, would you?
I think that's just a rule of thumb, innit? I think that's everyday life. I don't think
Yeah.
unless you're like the best manager in the world and stuff, and you're going to be getting these job opportunities.
So that
Um,
yeah, I just think
I just think he's gone about it all the wrong way for me personally.
yeah.
Big
He
time,
definitely should have come out and released some sort of statement saying,
big time, big time.
how can you turn this? How can I turn
Yeah,
this
and that's the thing.
opportunity
It
down?
was yeah, and that's the thing. It was, and for me, it's like when he got the buying job and he was in his press conference, he made no reference to us.
Yeah, yeah,
Like, oh, I'm not saying he should be sat there like, you know, raving over us and drooling over us, but just remember what we gave you that opportunity. You had 2 seasons, one were unbelievable, and the second was shite. So, you've not really gone on a crest of good vibes from the fans because of how stubborn you were during the season.
and now he's going
So,
to work with some of the best players in the world.
well, fair play to him. Look, I hope it works out for him. He gave us some of the best things. He's gave us something that we can never, ever delete, and that's winning the league at Bastard. So, he gave us some
Yeah,
fantastic, fantastic
well, it
times,
ain't
and
going to happen this season, is it? Because we play him too early in the league in the season, so
yeah, exactly, yeah,
it's a bit of a shame. But it is what it is. Um, but yeah, like I think we're at a good point where we can start wrapping it up there, mate. To be honest, because I think we've touched on everything that we really wanted to touch on.
yeah.
We've both said that England are going to win the Euros and Burnley are going to get promotion with more than 100 points next season. So neither of us said that. Well, I
I'm
said
going to say,
England are
hang
going to win the Euros, but
on, that's
you
it.
know,
That
I think I think if I finish off, I think it's good that England are not we're not all hyped up and we're not all going it's coming home.
yeah,
I'd have liked another win in
yeah,
there,
yeah, yeah,
just to
yeah,
boost them confidences, but not
yeah,
really like overdo it. Another
yeah,
1-0 win would have been nice.
yeah.
Um, I'd like Gareth Southgate to change it up in the next game a little bit. I don't want him to overdo it now. I don't think it's time for practicing now, is it? And his time for practicing was about 5 games ago. So I can't believe he thinks that Calvin Phillips is better than Declan Rice.
I don't think he thinks he's better than
Well, he
Declan.
clearly does
I think
because
no.
we've not been able to find a replacement for Calvin Phillips. So
I think what he's saying, I think he's saying that he's not found a replacement to play alongside Declan Rice like Calvin Phillips did. So he's saying that Bellingham's not as good as Calvin Phillips or Foden or Maney or Walton, which is the biggest load of shit I've ever heard in my
I
life.
feel for Wharton as well. To be fair, because
I think he's quality.
I think he's a good player, but
Yeah, very good.
he's done a Theo Walcott, and he's been given an opportunity to go
And not
and
touch ball.
realistically, what we should have done is taken Jack Grealish just because it's Jack Grealish and
Yeah,
he gives you something else.
yeah,
5, 6 free
yeah,
kicks a game, draws you in, and yeah, it's just another player, isn't he? And I get it wasn't on form, but I'd have probably taken Jack Grealish
you
in,
wouldn't have fucking played him anyway, younger. It's fine.
instead of Wharton, but only because of that age and that
Yeah,
Morton never really was going to get a game. Um,
yeah, yeah. It's a waste of a
I,
body, really, if he's not going to
I
use
feel
it.
for him, yeah.
Yeah,
To be
yeah,
perfect, but I feel for him in one way, and then in the other way, look, he's getting this massive experience.
yeah. He's getting
Hopefully,
this experience, and he's going to be at the World Cup, hands down.
hopefully
He'll
he
be.
can enjoy it more than Theo Walcott. I know Theo Walcott said he found it a bit tough, didn't he? But coming
Yeah,
back from that, um, so hopefully the British press don't jump on his back when he gets back.
no, they
Um,
won't do.
and he's a bit older than Theo Walcott. Walcott when he was 16, I think, didn't
Won't it? Yeah.
he? But mate, thank you very much for coming on again. I love doing these. I'm sorry to everybody it's been so long, but life is life.
Life is life.
And hopefully we'll be back next week. If not, it'll definitely be the week after. But
Yeah.
we'll have one planned in place for one inside the next couple of weeks before the end of the Euros, so we can talk about England getting to the final or getting knocked out in the next round. Mark, thanks very much.
Hey, pleasure as always. And yeah, like we said, guys, we're back now, refreshed. If you want to come on, drop us a message on Twitter, Instagram, Job a lot, Facebook, everything. We'll be on the lookout for, potential special guests to come on, talk about their life in football, looking
Yep.
at ex-pros or current pros. But yeah, enjoy the footage, guys. Get involved, interact with the shorts that we release in regards to who you think is going to win the Euros. Burnley fans, get involved in regards to we'll potentially release a short in regards to where you think we'll finish and who you think your manager is going to be. But yeah, it's
Yeah.
been the We Know Nothing show, and all the best, Younger. Smashed it as always, mate. Pleasure.
Yeah. Thanks, guys.